Hey guys, what's up? There's daylight. Check it out. Look, I'm vlogging and the background isn't like super dark. There's daylight. It is amazing. And I realize I don't mention it too much in my vlogs, but my sleep schedule's never been human. I go to bed at like, currently, I think last night I went to bed at like 8:30 a.m. Then I had to get up for something by like noon 30. So yeah, but I finished Wonder Woman figures, and that is a thing. And I say figures, which is awesome because you might remember the last vlog where I totally canceled Ares. I was totally like, I don't know if I'll be able to make Steve Trevor. But I did it. Both of them are totally done, and it's amazing. I'm so glad I was able to finish Diana in a timely fashion. This is going up on the social medias pretty soon. As a matter of fact, by the time you see this vlog, it's probably already up. But yeah, I'm super happy with the way Diana turned out, and I finished her around like Friday, Saturday morning, and I was able to go and do Steve Trevor. Thankfully, his costume isn't overly complicated. It was mostly just getting the likeness to Chris Pine right, and then the rest of the figure was mostly a breeze. And so, yeah, I finished both of these figures. I'm getting ready to start shooting the showcase. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing for the main skit in that showcase, but I'm figuring all that out. Hopefully it'll all be done by Thursday. I'm sure I'll get it done. But the Wonder Woman figures are done, and I know I put it in the title or the thumbnail somewhere. This is like a full reveal vlog for them, and I will show them in just a second. But of course, now that I've confirmed here that we're done with Wonder Woman, I can discuss Spider-Man Homecoming a bit more, man. Check it out. The same bodies you saw last vlog. Nothing new here at all. But I'm going to be getting started on these figures at the end of the week, and it's going to be amazing. I've got some ideas for how I'm going to do Vulture's wings. Some of you may not like it, but I think it'll look pretty great. And then this is a thing that also came in the mail. To those of you who frequent Flickr a lot, you might have seen that before. That is Saunders Mark V sculpt from Halo, and it is amazing. He sculpted it sometime early last year, and it has been back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean, from what I understand. Lost in the mail at least twice, I think, or something. And it's made its way all the way to me, and I'm going to be painting it up. My buddy Sean, TR Legos fan, sent it over for me to paint before Brick Fair, and that's something that's going to happen. Probably exclusively, I'm only going to post it on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram because I don't really think it's going to be something that I would want to do a showcase on, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys would rather see like a, the Spider-Man Homecoming showcase and Savitar and other things like that. Speaking of Savitar and Sonder, check out my segue skills, man. The same guy who sculpted this, and also Spartan Locke from Halo 5 and other incredible things. I'll link to his Flickr down in the description. I just got the green light from him that we are officially a go on Savitar. I pitched the idea to him, I think, back in December, and then we didn't really talk about it because, let's be honest, the Flash Season 3's storyline and quality definitely, or at least me and a lot of other people seem to think, dipped. So while the costumes look great, those stayed consistent, and Savitar looked and sounded amazing, there is definitely something to be said for the quality of storytelling and week-to-week performances. It was consistency was not something I would apply to the Flash Season 3. But regardless, we both agreed that Savitar looks so cool that we have to do our next collab has to be Savitar. So right now we are aiming for completion and me painting and showcasing Savitar sometime after Homecoming, toward the end of July, right before Brick Fair in August. So we'll see if we can make that happen. He's working on some commissions that he's got to do before Savitar, but Savitar is the thing that is happening. And also, one last thing on the subject of Sonder and his amazing sculpting skills. He's working on a Ghost Rider, which is amazing. Can't wait for you guys to see that. But also, he's coming to Brick Fair, apparently, which is going to be amazing, meeting him for the first time. But yeah, so Savitar is a go. It's going to be great. And yeah, guys, so now we've covered all the things relating to Wonder Woman. Well, I haven't shown you the figures yet. I'm going to get to that. But Homecoming and all that stuff. Homecoming got its final trailer, I think. Yeah, its last trailer, and one really bad poster and then one really great poster. I'll probably be recreating the really good poster with just the three of them on it when I finish all three figures toward the end of July, or the end of June rather. So yeah, speaking of June, my birthday's in 2 weeks on the 14th, so that'll be pretty cool. I'm in my final days of being 18. And then also, you're probably, now that before I show you the Wonder Woman figures and do that full reveal, Killer Frost and Kid Flash, still just blank bodies sitting on my desk, because right now the plan for them is for me to finish them and do the showcase on them. I don't know, man. Probably, I think Savitar, if Saunders able to get it done, you know, toward the middle of July, like I said, then I think Kid Flash and Killer Frost would definitely be afterwards. Because right now, the ideal slate is Homecoming, which is the biggest priority, Savitar, and then Kid Flash and Killer Frost. So that is the current plan. We'll see how that goes. But speaking, I mentioned Saunders Ghost Rider that he's working on, which again is going to be amazing. I put up the showcase on my Ghost Rider with the painted skull and everything. That figure, you know what I'm talking about. Finally did the video on that, and it's pretty cool, man. So that's up. But check this out. There they are. Both Wonder Woman figures, Diana, Princess of Themyscira, and Steve Trevor, both of which are done. So these figures will both be showcased on Thursday, and it's going to be great. Now, I'll just address it one last time over here on MGF Extra. Why did I make Diana in her Amazonian outfit? Not that really a lot of you mind, but basically her costume, just minus one strap, and her sword and her shield is exactly the same as it is in BVS. So I figured I'd hold off, because it's also the same in Justice League, and so I'm going to be making a version 2 of Wonder Woman in her full costume for Justice League later this year. But for now, I made Diana in her Amazonian outfit, which is, I think this figure turned out really, really great. Obviously, it's mostly self-explanatory, all stuff you've seen me do before. Fully painted minifigure with the aerial-like curved torso, the tiny tactical glove tops, shut up, and then also the fully modified and painted Cape Madness waist cape for, I have like that painted pattern running throughout the whole thing, which is definitely pretty time-consuming to get all those thin lines wrapping around the whole piece. So, yeah, but I think the biggest draw to the figure is obviously the hairpiece. The hairpiece is a modified Rey hairpiece from The Force Awakens. I sanded off all 3 buns, and then I sculpted on my own ponytails. So, yeah, but the #1 challenge for both of these figures was easily the faces. Now, I got Gal Gadot's likeness spot on, like, I think the first attempt, but then Steve Trevor getting Chris Pine's likeness, oh man. And I realize not even all of you are going to agree that I totally still got Chris Pine's likeness. I think I did. I'm really satisfied with the face. That's as close as I can get it, at least. But I think I went through 4 to 6 versions of this face, 2 or 3 of which I scraped off the head. I mean, all of them I ultimately scraped off the head, actually, but yeah, not an easy face to get right, but I'm super happy with the way it turned out. And then he's got a modified Cape Madness trench coat, all fully painted, 3D elements added to the whole figure. He's got a standard M1 911 pistol and tiny tactical glove tops, because they work so well for both these characters, and his fully painted torso, 3D strap, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to get into it a lot more in the showcase, and reasons as to why I didn't use a certain hairpiece for Diana and other things, but this is just the full reveal of both figures, totally finished. And again, I'm super happy with both of them, and yeah, I'm super glad that I was able to make Steve Trevor, period, because like I said in the last vlog and at the beginning of this one, I did not know if the timeline was going to work out, if there was going to be any extra time to make him. Thankfully there was, and I'm super happy with the way the figure turned out. And yeah, Diana Prince and Steve Trevor, man, both done, and it's gonna be great. And hey, oh, that's zoomed in quite a bit. Hey, Ares, there he is, man. God. Yeah. But what else is going on? Things that include the finales for The Flash and Arrow. Both of those things happened, and I thought, and I mean, spoilers for the Flash and Arrow finales, if you don't watch the shows or you plan on it, maybe you skip a little bit, but both of those finales I thought were pretty good. I thought Arrow was definitely much better than the Flash, even though, again, spoilers for both finales, I gotta say this first and foremost. If that's, John Barrowman, he came out and said that he's not coming back for the next season of Arrow. He's done with the Arrowverse. And I'm like, oh man, if that's actually how they killed Malcolm Merlyn, that is so bad. But then also, back to the Flash finale, I loved the final move that Barry pulled on Savitar, of, phasing into the suit and then the lights going red. But am I the only one wondering why they went red? When both of their Speed Force energy is the exact same color? Why did it go red? Why didn't Barry's voice go through the modifier in Savitar's suit? Why did he sound like Barry? I mean, is there a button that that Savitar has to push every time to speak, and our Barry just wasn't, I don't know. Just background thoughts I was having while watching it. And then my biggest problem with Savitar's ultimate fate was, first of all, I liked how they tried to help him. They gave it their best shot to incorporate him into the family, help him, save him from the paradox that was inevitably going to happen now, that HR was killed. By the way, thank God it was HR who died. Get off the show and just give us Earth 2 Wells back, because that was not Tom Cavanaugh's best role. That was HR throughout the whole season was, and I realize a lot of you probably really like HR, and that's cool, but for me, he was such a ridiculous character that was just shoehorned in, totally out of left field, and it was totally unnecessary to be on the show, because I had a problem with him from day one, because it was like, let's just casually send a message out into the casually accessible multiverse and just casually bring on a random Wells from a random part of the multiverse, and it'll be great. And then he came in and he was just an asshat, and he was the whole season. And I guess people actually liked him, but I definitely preferred Tom Cavanaugh, being Wells, who was secretly Eobard Thawne, and Earth 2 Wells. I think both of those characters were infinitely better than the shit show that HR was the whole season. I just was never fond. So again, the whole Iris twist, whew, thank God they used it as a way to take him off the show. That was... yeah, sorry HR fans. Yeah, the Iris twist I thought was a little underwhelming. And I thought it was kind of odd how after all these months of planning to save her, they just put all their eggs in this one basket with this one Speed Force gun. And they kept calling it the Speed Force Bazooka. And I'm like, can we be at least somewhat serious? It's like season 1 and a lot of 2 had such a great balance of humor and serious, legitimate storytelling. In season 3, man, it was just a lot of it was pretty funny in all the wrong ways. But yeah, so the way they killed Savitar, Iris just putting a bullet in his back, I was like, that's really great for Iris, right? Because she's just been such a damsel character the whole season. I mean, she really hasn't, they did not give her anything really great to do the whole season. It was just about them protecting Iris, saving Iris, and Iris can't do anything to help herself or others except, give pep talks until, May 23rd when she's gonna die. So I thought that it was great they gave her at least, the final dealing, gave her dealing the final blow to Savitar, but what I didn't like was just how underwhelming the scene was that followed, and how ridiculous it was, because the end of season 1, you have the wormhole opening in the sky, Eobard Thawne erased from existence, our entry into the multiverse, this wormhole could consume the Earth if it's not stopped. That was an incredible spectacle and an incredible finale. Season 2, while Zoom's whole destroy the multiverse with one device thing was ridiculous, at least he had a really cool death too, turned into Black Flash and taken away by time wraiths. I mean, that was super cool. But then Savitar just shot in the back, and then, oh man, a Speed Force storm. What are we gonna do? I mean, I wasn't really too blown away by just like streaks of lightning just hitting the city, because they took away the stakes of the situation when no one died. You know, obviously HR died in the beginning, but toward the end, this whole Speed Force storm didn't do anything. You remember, Ronnie died, you know, with the whole wormhole at the end of season 1. There were stakes. This was real. But no, just, you know, this whole Speed Force storm is happening, and people are probably getting into car accidents. Innocent people are getting killed by what the Speed Force is doing to the city. And Barry's just taking his sweet time, saying goodbye to everyone, and having an emotional send-off before he goes into the Speed Force. And I'm like, there are people dying, buddy. You should probably go now. So it was just kind of ridiculous for me. And then I wasn't really buying into the whole Killer Frost, I'm not Caitlyn anymore, or I'm not Killer Frost, I'm something else. Shut up and take the serum. Like, just what? I didn't buy into it. I didn't think it was believable when the cure was right there. Because I mean, I would take the damn serum so that I wouldn't have freezing powers that could kill people if I accidentally used them at the wrong time. It was kind of ridiculous. And then her wig looked like it was ready to fall off at that funeral scene. And then also, you know, when Gypsy says, when she saves Cisco and then she calls the multiverse, almost cringed in my seat, man. I almost cringed to death right where I was sitting. But I mean, I'm really railing on the finale. It was good. It was fine. There were some really great set pieces. Savitar looked amazing, like usual. You know, I really liked I really liked how they handled all the action sequences, them running through the forest. I thought that was all pretty cool, but I mean, ultimately, all in all, I was like, okay. And yeah, but again, like I said, the reason that Sandra and I are going to be doing this Savitar thing, the reason that I'm making Killer Frost and Kid Flash, because the one thing CW keeps consistent are the costumes. They're great. But yeah, and then the Arrow finale I thought was really good. I mean, some of the choreography was a little noticeable, but I mean, through and through, despite the ultimate fate of Malcolm Merlyn, which again, if that's how they're actually killing him off, that's freaking funny. But I mean, I really did like how they handled that finale, and there were a couple Felicity and Thea scenes that were so bad I had to mute them. And then yeah, Thea was really just not. Willa Holland just not on her A game in that finale. I thought that was a little rough. And I'm hoping, you know, toward the end how they ultimately handled the fate of Prometheus, which I thought was fitting. And I really liked how Deathstroke came in, Slade Wilson, Manu Bennett making his return, Captain Boomerang, it's fine. I really liked how Slade has gone back and regrets a lot of what he did in season 2. I think that's great character development. And I'm glad they gave him, you know, a better arc, because I know Manu Bennett was really kind of upset with how they just gave him a cameo episode in like the middle of season 3 back in like 2014 or 15 or something. But yeah, so hoping that they actually stay true to what they did at the end of that finale and someone actually dies. We find out someone didn't make it off the island at the beginning of season 6, and I'm hoping season 6 will also be the last season of Arrow, because at this point I think they've exhausted most of the story and they can only really do one more season before it starts to drag on. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on the Arrow and Flash finales. Hopefully they will come back stronger than ever, and the people who write the Flash will actually get their shit together and make a decent narrative. But yeah, so something else that happened, something that's pretty major. The 40th anniversary of Star Wars. Obviously, you all know what happened. I'm sure you all celebrated in your own ways. Not going to dwell on it too long, but I mean, what do you say about Star Wars, this saga that changed all of our lives? I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't know all my friends. My life would, I don't know who I would be today if Star Wars never sent me on the lifelong journey that that really started in 2005 for me, when I first truly felt inspiration after seeing Revenge of the Sith. It was that day when I really knew what it was like to be inspired. As a kid, I think Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, was really the first time for me, and I mean, here we are 12 years later, and I've come to know and meet so many people, not only just because of Star Wars, but because of Lego Star Wars, and so many people that were close friends of mine that have come and gone over the years, some of which I call my best friends, and my entire channel, my entire YouTube career, all the people that I've inspired with just the figures that I've made in the past decade, none of this would have been possible without Star Wars. And for the most part, I celebrated the 40th anniversary at Celebration. You know, when I saw George Lucas, Harrison Ford, and John Williams all live on stage, of course, with Hayden Christensen, Ian McDermott, Mark Hamill, you know, and the rest of you know, and Kathleen Kennedy, everybody that was there for that panel that day, and I was there with all my friends to experience it. It was so incredible, probably the best experience of my life. And that was truly the day that I celebrated the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. There's Toddy, by the way. And I mean, I put up a post about how much Star Wars means to me and my life on Twitter. But what do you say, man? I'm so glad that I was able to be at that panel at Celebration with all my friends, because, you know, as awful of a truth as it is to face, the 50th anniversary panel for Celebration, you know, 10 years from now, I imagine will be a lot more, you know, empty. I don't imagine, you know, you guys know what I mean, right? I'm trying to dance around it because it's such a grim thing to bring up. But you know what I mean. Anyway, The Last Jedi set photos came out. This vlog is going on for a while. Things have been happening, man. Thank you for sticking around. Last Jedi set photos came out. Obviously, Lego has been all over it with the DMCA takedowns. So obviously I'm not going to show them here. Instead, I'll just keep my dog in the frame. Yeah, the Last Jedi sets, the ones that we have seen, they look amazing. The new Walker, the new like MIDI-scale Star Destroyer, the new Snoke figure, the new hairpiece on Rey, all the new outfits, Laura Dern's character with her purple hair. It's more so pink or like violet or like magenta, you know, colors. But the Last Jedi sets seriously do look amazing, and I cannot wait to see the rest of them and review most of them for you come Force Friday 2017. So yeah, man. And I feel bad for Lego and all the copyright that they're having to, all the copyright strikes and again DMCA notices they're having to dish out. It was probably a great call with Lucasfilm afterwards. But anyway, yeah, the Last Jedi Vanity Fair photos are also a thing that came out, and those look great. The costumes and everything else, there really isn't too much to talk about with those. There were some really great covers with some amazing photos of Mark Hamill with Carrie and you know, obviously Carrie and her daughter. I mean, those photos, man, those hit hard. And then they gave Carrie her own cover too. I'm hoping I'll be able to find one of those in my Barnes & Noble here pretty soon. So yeah. Then also something else that was a thing, I updated my channel banner. Those of you guys who remember, my channel banner for the past like 4 freaking years was just like, it was just like MGF Customs, and it was like a blue grid texture, and it was just an old ass banner that I had a friend of mine make back in 2013, and I never changed it. But finally I looked at it, and then I'm like, what the hell? So why is that still there? I finally noticed it, and I fixed it, and I threw together a quick version of like my, I posted that, it's like my same cover photo that I have on Twitter and on Flickr. So I made a version of that, threw it up, added Baby Groot in there, and it was pretty cool. And then I want to talk bug problems. I found a mosquito under my desk last night, but that wasn't the worst of my problems. I found, you know what those centipedes are, and like the like big centipedes are like kind of that big, and they're more so wide, you know, with all like 50 of their legs. I don't know what kind of pede it was, but it was some kind of pede, and it was up there, up on the ceiling. It was actually like right there. And so what I did was, I did not want this thing crawling around the ceiling. I wanted this to be a swift and quick blow. You can totally click off the vlog, by the way. I would not blame you at this point. I grabbed a broom and I actually taped some paper towels to it. And it was actually this thing here. Taped some paper towels to that. And then I went into my room with a spray bottle full of rubbing alcohol, that silver one right there. And then the little bastard moved into that corner, so if I tried to hit him, he basically would have been shielded because he would have just been able to, you know, conform to the corner. And so I had to hit him with the alcohol. He fell down there somewhere, and then I made an absolute mess of the floor and my entire room because this little bastard was crawling around through all of this stuff. And this is when having a small room with way too much stuff to put in it becomes a problem, because now it's an even bigger problem. And I was screaming like a little girl the whole time. And it was one of the most traumatic experiences in my life. But anyway, that is it for this extensive vlog, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. I'm going to catch you guys later when it's time to talk about Wonder Woman, because the reviews have been amazing. The embargo just lifted last night, so it's gonna be great. Cannot wait. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Pirates 5 was pretty awesome, by the way. Saw that too. Can't believe that happened already. All right, bye-bye.